Okay. Could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Okay, hello, I'm Maria Palido. I'm co-founder and CFO of Fosprin, which is a startup based here in the Demokritos Technology Park in Athens, Greece. Fosprin is a laser bioprinter developer. So we aspire to revolutionize healthcare by introducing the first in vivo laser bioprinter, with the first application being bladder cancer. My background, I'm a finance professional. I was many years in regional, mostly CFO positions, and most of the time in Johnson & Johnson. I had the privilege of working with many people from many countries and continents. I was also involved in the Women's Leadership Initiative of J&J for medical devices. So I'm very well aware of the issue of gender diversity, or what the lack of gender diversity can do in terms of decision making and better representation of society in corporations that would support decision making. In the last 4 years, I've been involved in the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Greece. I'm also an associate professor of entrepreneurship at the American College of Greece, so I teach entrepreneurship courses. So I'm quite involved in what is happening in the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Greece, and also participating as a mentor and as a speaker in events that have to do with female entrepreneurship and how do you support and grow female entrepreneurship, okay? Which is quite interesting, because before, when the entrepreneurial ecosystems were not that big, we were discussing about the representation of females in corporations. Now that the entrepreneurial ecosystem is growing, we're discussing the fair representation of females and other diversity representatives in the startup ecosystem.
What do you think is the role of women and women entrepreneurs in the sustainable and green development process in Greece?
Okay. I think we have a responsibility. The first generations of female entrepreneurs in Greece have the responsibility of paving the way for this, I would say, grassroots movement to grow and expand, okay, with green entrepreneurship and sustainability. I think if you talk to them, because I talk with a lot of them, most of them are fully aligned. It's just a matter of getting a little bit more organized and putting those processes in place that you can get the closer connection between what is happening and having a path forward for the future that would allow that grassroots movement to become the common thing to do on a daily basis. Yeah.
What is your success story in women's entrepreneurship? What did you experience when you think about your own career journey?
Well, I think I was fortunate enough to be able to change my career and do things that I enjoy mostly at times. Okay, so I really liked my corporate role. When I didn't like it anymore, I said I'm going to try and do something else. So it was a risk for me. You know, I went into unknown waters for me, unknown territory. I started teaching, and then I did some project management. I didn't like it, and by coincidence, because I know personally Ioanna Zergioti, she said, let's work together. I need a business person, a finance person, so started working together in Fosprin. I think my personal success was that I was able to shape my path according to my inner needs, to be very honest, okay? So when I stopped enjoying what I was doing corporate-wise, I started doing other things, and I also enjoyed teaching, okay? Which is a way of paying forward all the things I had the privilege of receiving as a professional. And I think, and as I said, I mentor companies and I mentor high school children through Junior Achievement Greece. I think if everybody who has a role to play also takes on the mentoring or the sponsoring, it would be a lot easier. Yeah. I believe.
I know maybe you will repeat a bit of yourself, but how should women entrepreneurs be supported in general?
There has been a long discussion about women entrepreneurs not being judged fairly when it comes to funding, okay? And there have been movements in Europe, mainly in Europe, to have VCs, venture capital firms, created by women for funding women, okay? So that's one way of dealing with it, making sure that the funding is there, because if the company does not have funding, it doesn't exist from a point on, okay? You get stuck in the valley of death. You never get your head out of the water. The second thing is, as I said, with sponsoring from more successful members, networking a lot, giving them access or giving them advice on how to take the next step, having it a little bit more, these networks more organized, so they know they can pick up the phone or get a Zoom with somebody who can give them some advice. And there is a lot going on, okay? There is, in fact, a lot going on in that respect, because there are more and more female entrepreneurs coming up. I can give you success stories. There are many success stories in Greece who've made it out there. We have Nanuka. The two co-founders are young women with kids. They used to take their children to work when they were setting up the company. So Nanuka is about finding nannies for your children. It's expanded also in Cyprus and the UK. And now there is another one by another female entrepreneur, Grandmama, which is finding caretakers for older people, because, you know, our culture, we keep our parents at home with us mostly. Okay, so if you need to find somebody to take care of your older parents, you have an app to do so. So these are female entrepreneurs, and of course my students, ex-students, aggregator Cleanit, who has traction and she's doing well. But she's done a lot of her own, and she has the determination like the others to make it happen. So I think support, sponsorship, advice, mentoring, and funding, making sure they get access to funding.
Do you have any examples on this support? I know you said like sponsorship, but are there any organization out there already that you could mention?
As I said, there was this call yesterday by female entrepreneurs, which is done. It was organized by, I think, Innovative Greeks.
Innovative Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of actions happening with Endeavor, which is an international organization also. There is a lot of attention currently on female entrepreneurs, okay, because the representation is not fair. And it's not just Greece, I'm sure it's the same everywhere. Even in Denmark,
sure.
I would be very surprised, because
sure.
we consider the Nordic societies to be the most equitable societies on the planet, yeah? They are. So you see, it takes time, So that is what I would suggest, and probably even dedicated funding for female entrepreneurs. Maybe the governments should do it. The governments should sponsor, or the EU, dedicated funding for female entrepreneurs. I know they're starting something at the EU, at the EU Commission.
Yes.
For female entrepreneurs. I know we were told that if you have more women on the board, you get a point when it comes to your assessment. Okay? So they are trying, and I think, like most things, you need to get governments or big organizations to support this equality, or more equality in the representation of startup owners.
What would you like to suggest to women in general?
Don't give up.
That's the best advice. It's
Don't
okay.
give up. It's not just women, it's everybody. And I don't think I'm the first who said it. There is this course, Corporate Entrepreneurship Innovation. We talk a lot about corporate entrepreneurship innovation. Of course, when you talk about corporate innovation, you talk about the late Steve Jobs a lot. And there was this interview that he said, well, the ones who persist, the ones who keep on going at it, are the ones who succeed at the end. Okay? I think for entrepreneurship is very true. Like with many things in life, but this is what I said, is getting out of the valley of death, you know, staying there and holding on until your company makes it. For female entrepreneurs, I think they should resolve the funding issue, and they should be fine, because they are as capable as anybody. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
You're very welcome.